All right. Hello, everyone. See who comes on here in the next few minutes. Hello, Nieces. We'll wait for some other folks to come on here before we get started. Yes, this is very exciting for me. Hello, Ray. We're going to wait for some others here to get on here before we get started. I'm in New Jersey. You'll hear some people over here at the pool. Hello, Presley. Over here in Mississippi, guys. Over in Mississippi. I told everybody about 8:30 or Central Time and 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Try to get a few more people in here because this is a pretty big deal here. Hello, Wendy. Yeah, my live tonight is not only going to reveal my book, but also other books along the way, especially one, which is step 3 of my process. Hello, Fran. Hi, Traveling Dasher. Yeah, that's right. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Okay, we're going to start. Okay. I'm going to start putting some of you guys here in blue. That way everybody knows that you're here. See who else is here. Nieces. We'll put you in one also. There we go. Let's see, who are we missing? Wendy. All right. Okay, I'm going to take a look here and see who all we got here in blue. Presley, I'll do that to you also. Okay. All right. Okay, for those of you that are already here, you should already be in blue. Oh, welcome, Tornado. All right. Here, let's do you. Let's see what we got here. There we go. All right. Here we're about 5 minutes in. We got 8 here right now. Chuck said he'd be here. I don't know if he, I'm trying to wait until to see if he got here or not. Yeah, I would have been on yesterday, but I had a little hiccup with the place that I was going to stay. And they told me when I went to check in, they said, oh, we didn't have any rooms available. And I said, well, according to where I booked from, they said that you had 2 left. And they said, well, they were delayed in something or other, so I had to spend a pretty good amount of time to find a decent place to be. Dash and Dink, you made it. All right. Here, let's do you too. Do you. There you go. All right. Okay. Yes, this trip has been extremely relaxing. And I went to a 3-day conference, which was, I mean, it's one thing when you watch something on television, but when you're there, I mean, when you're physically there, it's completely different thing. You take it all in a whole lot differently. I mean, just watching it on TV, things don't do justice. It's just like going to a concert. Like the very first concert that I went to was Billy Idol. I mean, it's one thing to listen to him on the radio, but when I was physically there, yeah, much, much different. Yeah, I've been to several concerts, and yeah, it's completely different when you're physically there. And it's the same thing here with these, with Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, same thing. All right. Ah, there's Mama Wrench. All right. Okay, we'll put you on here, Mama. Okay. Okay. It's absolutely true, nieces. You can't beat anything that's in person. Rebel Yell, yeah. Yeah, Rebel Yell. Yeah, he did a really good one on that one when I was there. Of course, this was back in when I went to that concert in 1984. I think some of you weren't even born yet. Yeah. I know Fran wasn't. You're welcome, Mama. You deserve it. All y'all deserve it. Okay, let's see. 7 minutes. Yeah, we'll give everybody about maybe 3 more minutes or so to see who else will come on. Absolutely, Mama. Sting and Billy Joel. Hey, yeah. You look like a Smurf, Ray. This drink I got here came from a great place to eat in Mississippi called Mr. and Mrs. Crab. If you like crab legs and shrimp and things like that, yeah, the way they prepare it, and yeah, it's really, really good. So if you're ever in Mississippi, stop by Mr. and Mrs. Crab. They got excellent lemonade. I mean, the best lemonade you've tasted. And yeah, it was some really good food there. Okay. All right, I'm going to do some looking around here to get before I get started. Because when I get started here, I'm going to tell you exactly how this came about. I'll give it about maybe 17 more, a minute and 15 seconds. See who else comes on. Otherwise, they'll just have to start from the beginning. Are they crabby? No. Food's really good though. I mean, if you get the snow crab or the king crab, I like it where you can break it off and and take it out that way. I mean, it's real easy. They make it real easy for you to get the meat out. It's really, really good crab meat. It really is. Po' Boy Express. Wow. Give you 3. Okay, I'll wait for you, Dink. I'll wait for you. I was hoping Chuck would get here. He said he would. He might be doing his putting his video together for today. I mean, he put Daniel's video out. I mean, I liked watching that. If you all watched that, that was yeah, Daniel puts on a really good show. Hal and Mal's and Jackson. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, Fran. I forgot. Yeah, he did have some issues with the storm. Yeah, that's right. He said Biscuit was going all crazy. Well, I can imagine. Yeah, I have a cat myself, and when there's storms, she just goes poof. One day I'll put her on her. Her name's Little Tiny, and maybe she and introduce her to Howard McKitty. I think maybe Mary might get a kick out of that. Well, Dink, let me know when you get to your computer, and we'll go ahead and get this, and we'll get started here. Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Chuck and that storm, and that he's got his power back. All right, let's see. See, we got 5 of you on here right now. Okay, there's 6. Okay. Yeah, you'll hear some people in the background. Those are people at the pool. You don't think blue people show up in the viewer count? Yeah, probably not. I don't really know how that works, Tornado. This is my first live, so I can't really know what goes on there. You guys know more about that than I do.
Yeah. If you get a plate, I got some chopped crabs on if you want one.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Okay, you're ready. All right. Okay, well, as an old professor of mine said when I went to college, he'd say, "Okay, we might as well get underway here." And so I'm going to start out that before I actually reveal this to you, I'm going to tell you a little tiny story here. Okay? How this came about, it was March 28th of 2011. And it was kind of like the type of thing where you get up in the morning, or like, let's say if you ever watched Back to the Future, where Doc reveals his time machine, and how it all got started. He said that he remembered all of that vividly. It was like I was standing on my toilet hanging a clock. This porcelain was wet, and I slipped, fell, and hit my head. And when I came to, I had a revelation, a vision, a picture in my head, a picture of this, a picture of my book. But it just didn't start there. What I had to do on that day, and this is going to sound silly to a lot of you, but what I had to do on that day was, I was only 20 minutes. I was living 20 minutes from the place where I grew up at. And there was like a little voice in my head that said, what you're going to do today is something you're not going to believe. And yes, it sounds so strange, but it's what I had to do. I had to go to my old neighborhood and start at my childhood house and walk through the entire neighborhood and the schools that I went to, and I had to do one thing, and that was forgive every bad thing that happened to me during that time. All those years. Yes, it sounds so weird. I know it does. But there's a reason why. I know forgiveness is hard for a lot of people, especially if they've been bullied or bad things happen to them. It's rough. It really is. It's forgiveness is one of the hardest things you could ever do. And it's what I had to do. So I went and did all that. And then lo and behold, April 11th, that was the day I wrote my first sentence to this book right here. This book right here. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But when I wrote my first sentence, it all became visionary. And that's what this conference was that I went to, was visionary. If you have a vision in your head, things will come to you, and then you can write it down all on paper, and then it comes out in form just like this. And I started getting publishing and everything done like 2 or 3 years later, but then something happened. I lost my job at a place that I worked for 9 years, and didn't have any skills, real skills to do much of anything else, and went through a pretty rough time. A time to where I ended up homeless with nothing because I lost my job. So I had to put everything aside in 2013. 2013 was one of the worst years of my life. Not to mention 1982 and 1991, to which my mother went in the hospice unit on Fran's birthday and then died on July 31st of that same year. And my mother hated the word 13, or she hated the number 13. She hated it, absolutely hated it. And it came back to bite her. But nonetheless, I went through that time, and when 2013 was going to go to 2014, I played the song by Howard Jones, Things Can Only Get Better. And lo and behold, did they ever. I got a job shortly after that and started the process all over again. And it took several years. It took me 5 years to work there, and then I got an even better job. The job where I'm at right now, to where I make $27 an hour and work about 42 hours a week. And didn't really have any kind of real vacation until 2019 when I came down south. Went to Alabama a couple times and went to Florida. But in 2022, I felt like I needed to do something different. And that was go to Mississippi. I guess there was something there in Mississippi that I needed to do. Hello, Maverick. You haven't really missed a whole lot. If you need to, you can go back to about maybe a few minutes to get the whole story. But anyway, I'm just telling how this got started. And in 2022, when I went to Mississippi, I stayed in a hotel called the Hyatt Place. It was a great hotel. It had a saltwater pool, which you don't find in too many places. And it had a fire pit where people could gather around, kind of like the FDR fireside chats type of thing. It was that kind of thing. Great gathering places and stuff. But at the pool one day, and I will show this couple to you in a future video. It was Greg and Dolly. Greg, I met them at the pool, and they were Well, Greg is actually a fisherman that in the Mississippi Sea for all different places. He works many, many hours fishing in the Mississippi Sea and the Mississippi River. Spent the whole day with him and his wife talking about a whole bunch of things. And they led me to someone in a bookstore. And I'm going to reveal one of those books to you. Person in the bookstore, see, Mississippi was step 1 to my book being published. Greg and Dolly was step 2 of my book being published. Step 3 is this. It's a book by Monica Benjamin called When Faith Embraced the Promise. When Faith Embraced the Promise. And I will post these books like in a future video for you all to take a look at, but I really would like for you to check out Monica's book, because the things that Monica wrote in her book was visionary also. She had a vision of owning a bookstore at one time. And it took many years, lots of money, and lots of planning. But eventually, it happened. And she was step 3 of the process. And here's where it gets even better. It was through her that I met my publisher, Star Pemberton, who lived in Kansas City at the time, now lives in Texas. And that's how I found my publisher. So there's my 4 steps to getting the book published. Yes, it took 12 years. But sometimes the timing isn't really your timing. That sometimes you have to let time take its course. And I did. But that vision that I had back in 2011 is this right here. The book is called From Lost to Faith and Family series. And Star Pemberton, she was the one who designed this book. And the first book here is One Piece Leads to 8. One Piece Leads to 8. There are 7 books in this series. And yes, Nieces, yes, so true, and I did it. Yes, it took 12 years, but I did it. It happened. I wanted it to happen years ago, but perhaps it wasn't in the cards back then. Sometimes there are reasons why we have to wait. And there's certain things that we have to do in order for things to happen. And forgiveness was for one of them. Thank you, Fran. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So I will reveal this in another video, but when you ever get a chance, check out my book. It's called, it's From Lost to Faith and Family series. It's on Amazon only right now. It will be in other places later. And the title is actually One Piece Leads to 8. You will find that at Amazon.com. Now, for the forgiveness part, this was something that I had to do, and for those of you who need help with this, those who are watching now and those in the future, I recommend this book right here from Troy Brewer. It's called Redeeming Your Timeline. And what that means is that if there's something that you have a hard time forgiving, you vision yourself back at that time. And whatever you never said, you get your chance to say it. You vision yourself back there and you say what you forgot, what you never said. Because let me tell you something. When you release strife and hurt and everything in the air, when you finally get to do that, and this book will definitely help you do that, you're going to get a whole new revelation on things. And that's how this book came about, I was able to do that. And I'm sure there's a number of you in there who have been through some real tough hardships. And people have hurt you and things of that nature. In fact, I won't see her yet, but I recall Sunny doing a video on how she hated being in school because she was bullied. Yeah, I went through that too. And let me give you a synopsis of some of the things that goes on in this book. In this book here, there's stories of hatred, stories of bullying, stories of broken relationships, stories of just absolute torture. But yet, there's stories that turned everything completely around. It takes certain people that you meet to change your whole life around. And that's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. And I know there's a number of you guys that might want to think about writing a book yourself. And I know one of them, I believe, is Stu. I haven't seen him in a long time. But if you are looking to writing a book, I can get you to Star. And Star can look you over, and she can help you get it started, because she doesn't charge a whole lot, which is one of the reasons why I was glad that Monica showed me to her, because I pretty much got a discount. Oh, Chuck, don't worry about it. I see you. Don't worry, Chuck. Yeah, I revealed the book here. Let me just do this for Chuck. Here you go, Chuck. It's called From Lost to Faith and Family. One Piece Leads to 8. And yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, I went through the whole story to tell everybody how it came about, and it took 12 years for me to get it to come out, but nevertheless, there were certain steps that we had to do. Now, there's another book I want to bring out from someone who went through a lot of rejection, and I want to say this too. One of my favorite shows back from 2006 to 2010 was the show Deal or No Deal. I loved watching all those models. I loved watching people win money and things like that. I mean, there were certain things that the show did that got themselves off the air, but nonetheless, I have here a book from one of the best models that was on there. And I really suggest that you check this book out too. Patricia, she was number 9 on Deal or No Deal. Very classy woman. Someone who cares about people. And it's called Dream On, Now Deliver. Dream On, Now Deliver. It's a story about if you want to make it big, or if you want a good channel, or whatever it is you want to do, she gives you steps as to how to get it done. She even tells you in this book you can't ramrod your way up to the top. It takes steps. And it takes time, just like it did with me. Yes, was I disappointed that I had to wait 12 years? Yeah, I was. I thought I was going to get it done in 3 or less. But time had to take its course, and certain things had to happen. It's about trust. And maybe that was the time for it to come out, and not 3 years, or not 3 years from the time I started writing it. But I just love it. Thank you, Nieces. Thank you. Definitely. Okay. Definitely. Thank you. I really appreciate this. And ever since I started in this gig work, I also feel too, like with all of you that are on here, my feeling is we're all a team. We all work together. We try hard to be the best that we can be. And we can't do it alone. I mean, just like in this book here, you can't do it alone. No one can do anything alone. We need each other. And we see what's going on in the world, that, there's so much division that everybody wants to fight each other. instead of work with one another. There's so many misunderstandings. There's just so many that are just dead set on, hey, I'm this way and I'm not going to change for anybody. Can't do that. We all have to work together. We all have a purpose to be here. All of us do. We all have a purpose to be here. And when we help each other, as a matter of fact, here I'm going to do this real quick. All right, Chuck, I got you. Let's see. Okay. I had to put him to get Maverick also. All right. I believe everybody here is blue now. So, yes, it's very pleasing for me to be able to introduce this book to you and to just be a part of this gig community. And my wife and I and kids suffered a major loss, hurt back in 2015, and we would not have come out if we didn't have each other. Maverick, you should, even if it's just a short story, you should write about that. I mean, I know you guys are over it and everything, but I think if you write something about it, I mean, even if it's a small thing, I mean, you can make pages and pages and pages, even if it's a short story. You could get something out of it. I mean, if it's something that you really don't want to go through again by discussing, I understand that. But I went through a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, is this book about me? Well, parts of it, but not all of it. Hello, Mary. Let me get you here. All right, I got you, Mary. Okay. But, and another thing too, if you ever thought about writing, a lot of this book that I did here, even though some of it is about me, there were some things that I wrote about that I wanted to happen that never did happen. One of them was the main character is a radio announcer. And I never got to do that. That was something I always wanted to do. But even if I didn't get the chance to do that, then I let my character do it. Because I wanted everyone to know why I wanted to do that. And could I do it in the future? Maybe. But I have to have a bachelor's degree. And hello Sheila, and because I didn't have a college degree, I could never get into it. College is so expensive now, and I had to take care of my mom or I would have finished that degree back then. But apparently it wasn't meant for me to finish college then. Yes, Duke City, hey! I'm going to get you guys here real quick, both of you. All right, we'll be there. Okay, Duke City. And, all right. Got you all here. Yeah, Duke, you'll have to go back to the beginning. Sheila, you'll probably have to go back to the beginning too. But I went ahead and introduced my book here. I'll go ahead and show it to you guys, those who just joined. It's called From Lost to Faith and Family, One Piece Leads to 8. That's the name of the book. You're welcome, Duke. That's the name of the book. And again, I'll show you the others that I also recommend. Definitely this one, because this is my second step to it, called When Faith Embraced the Promise. Very similar to my book as Visionary. And while we're on the subject of Visionary, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about this conference that I was at. For things that you want, it's just like in Back to the Future. It may take many years later, But if you have a vision, like this book was a vision in 2011. I knew at some point it was going to happen, but I didn't know the vision wasn't going to come to until 2023, 12 years later. But yet it was a vision and it came true. And if there's something that you haven't finished, something you really want to do, or something you never said to somebody something, then you got to have a vision for it. And this conference showed you how you can have a vision for what it is you want, even if you have to wait for it. I mean, as I said before, I was disappointed because I had to wait so long. But nevertheless, it happened. And now I have a book on the shelf because of my waiting and because of my patience and because of all the steps and all the hills and the valleys and things I had to go through, especially in 2013. I mean, when 2013 hit and I went through that, I thought, am I ever going to get my book done? I mean, here I am at rock bottom. I mean, just rock bottom. What am I going to do now? But I went through it. Thank you, Duke. Thank you. I went through it. And after going through it, when 2014 hit, that's when things changed. I had to do other steps to get to the step to where I went to Mississippi. And there's probably some things. Hello, Roy. There's some things that you're going to have to do that you might be unthinkable to you. There may be someone you have to visit. There may be a new place that you have to live at, or a new place to go visit on vacation, which is what I had to do. I never had thought about going to Mississippi. But little did I know, here, Roy, let me get you here. All right, there you go, Roy. Okay. Little did I know, I'm going to Mississippi. I never thought about going there. I mean, and here I am now discussing this with you because I like Mississippi. Hello, David. Let me get you here. All right. And I want to tell you one thing, Mississippi, the ocean is a little bit different in Mississippi than it is in Alabama or the Gulf Coast or even the Atlantic or Pacific coast for that matter, because it's more brown. But when I was having my discussion with Greg, he told me why that is. He said, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, it's tied to the Mississippi River and other islands that are around, and most of those areas are where ships come in, and that makes the water brownish looking. Because this is more of a shipyard area in Mississippi than it is in Alabama or anywhere else around there. A lot of the ships will come through Mississippi. I'm sure there's some that do go to Alabama and other places, but mostly in Mississippi. I mean, Greg's been doing that for over 20 some odd years, and he told me the whole story as to how that is and how the Mississippi River is connected to the ocean. As a matter of fact, when I went to Louisiana, I crossed the Mississippi River to get where I needed to go. And let me tell you, just the traveling part to get there. I mean, you can see things on plane, but you saw my pictures in my recent short, and I went through 5 states. 5 states to get there in over 12 hours. Very tiring to drive that long in that long a time. I mean, you got to stop and get out and do all those types of things and get gas. But I was determined. I was determined to make sure that I would get to Louisiana in a 12-hour period, and I did. I had to make that conference. There were 4 different shows for the conference, and I got to go to all of them. And Hattiesburg. I'll keep that in mind, Tony. Let's see. I'm in Gulfport right now. You would know. How far is Hattiesburg from Gulfport? You'll have to let me know. Yeah, I'm in Gulfport right now. Because Monica's shop is in Gulfport, and one of my next lives that I'm going to do is going to be from Monica's store. So I want you all to meet Monica, because Monica's my third step to getting my book published. And I know she would appreciate you all stopping by as I take you into her store and let you see what she has. I mean, I never knew that when I stepped foot in there that I would see a piece of paper, a flyer that said who published her books. And then when she told me that star's name, I was like, okay, I'll call her and see what happens. And voila, March 21st of 2023, there was the books. Oh, really, Chuck? See, where did you stay in Biloxi if you were there? Because the Hyatt place was in Biloxi. That's where I met Greg and Dolly, was in Biloxi at the Hyatt place there. I stayed there for like 7 or 8 days because I loved that saltwater pool. Because the ocean water is brown and everything, I thought, well, maybe since they have a saltwater pool, I'll just do that. And I just stayed in that saltwater pool for like 4 or 5 hours. It was so soothing. And I did that for days. And boy, oh boy, you can really tell a difference after you've been in the saltwater pool. Yes, Duke, Tornado, Presley, yes. Amazon only right now. Only. Amazon.com. You can look for it under From Lost to Faith and Family or One Piece Leads to 8. Now, the From Lost to Faith and Family is the series. Okay? Beau Rivage. Oh, you'll have to tell me about that, Traveling Dasher. Beau Rivage. Yeah, you'll have to let me know about that. Any links posted? Well, actually, I will, in my next video, which either that or when I go see Monica, if I don't have anything posted, I will go ahead and post that up there. The Beau Rivage. Find on Amazon, DJ Siegel. Yes, thank you, Nieces. The Beau Rivage has the state tree growing in the lobby. Beautiful magnolias. Yes, magnolias are beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Definitely have to check that out. But yeah, I mean, driving down here through Mississippi, I love the lighthouses. I mean, even though the water's brown and everything, it's okay. It's still the ocean. It's still soothing to just sit there and just take it all in. And even when you're in the pool at the Hyatt place, you can still see the ocean from the pool. And that's the one great thing about it. And I've been in Gulf Shores in Alabama. I mean, it was kind of real expensive to stay there right now. Walk on the beach, locals don't get in the water. You might be surprised about that, Tornado. You might be very surprised about that. Yesterday, when I drove through here to get to my hotel where I'm staying at now, there were those that were kind of deep in the ocean, kind of where sharks would hang out. Yeah. There's some brave people, let me tell you. You lived on the ocean all your life. Yeah. Someday I'm going to get there, Mama. Someday I will get there. I just got to figure out where I'm going to live at. Am I going to be in Mississippi? Am I going to be in Alabama? Or am I going to be in Florida? I don't know yet. Pensacola has great fishing. I went to Pensacola, about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Because I stayed in Destin. I believe that was 2 or 3 years ago I stayed in Destin. Yeah, I was there. And Destin was real nice. As a matter of fact, I've got a picture of that I can post up at some time. Tornado Garden. They dredge the sand to make the beaches. Once you get 5 feet off the shore, it's red clay and sinky. Yeah. Yeah, I think I can tell that. But just listening to Greg's story about how how the water is the way it is and how it's connected to everything. I mean, you could just sit and listen to Greg for hours. I mean, he could tell you so much of his fisherman stories and places he's been, and just how much he loves his job. And lived there before the casinos. Yeah, I've been to the Golden Nugget. Yeah, I was there. I've got pictures of me being in the Golden Nugget. I'm not really a casino type person, but I did go there for, I guess, to go visit something in there. There was something that I did in there. I can't remember what it was now. That was, like I said, several years ago. But yeah, I've been there. The beach with a lot of seafood factories. Yeah. That's one thing that I like about being at the ocean. Floribama Lounge. Okay. Yeah, the one thing that I like about Mississippi, though, is driving up and down the coast where you can just see the ocean. I mean, just seeing the ocean to your left or to your right, whether you're going west or east. Yeah. Floribama Lounge, I got to visit him. Traveling, I get what you're saying. Stuff happens for a reason. The ones that crossed have said so. Any discussion they need to have about what happened will take place on the other side. Okay. I get it. Yeah, sometimes there's just some people that don't like the idea of traveling or taking the time to go and do things or even visiting places. They just don't have the... But what happened to me was you've got to, visit places you've never been. It's kind of like Dashing Dink, when he goes on his trip. I mean, throughout his whole trip, he could put Willie Nelson's song in there, On the Road Again. Going places he's never been, seeing things he may never see again. I think, Dink, if you're still in here, I think you ought to use that song. I think that would be ideal. But I just, it's just soothing to be able to tell you guys how this happened. And if there's a dream that you have, if there's something you really want to do, I mean, you might have to go through some things. But one of the things that I am definitely have got to stress, otherwise this book might not have happened, was there's got to be some forgiveness. There just has to be. Because there's power in forgiveness. There just is. There's power in it. It's hard to forgive, yes. If you've been hurt, it's very hard to. It's very hard. If you had some really horrible things happen in your life, which I have, and I've had a lot of friends where a lot of bad things happen, yeah, sometimes you got to go through that. I was one of my favorite movies that I like to watch was Forrest Gump, and there was this part where Jenny, she went to her house, and what'd she do? She was angry at it, and just, and took off her shoes and threw her there and just bawled and didn't say anything. She didn't have forgiveness in her heart for what happened to her back then. And what I've done at times is I stood by those places and I said, in my head, I forgave all of those who were at that place, in the schools and everything. And I just said, I forgive you. That's all I said. In my head, I just said that. And it took a weight off. And I think if I didn't do that, April 11th wouldn't have happened. April 11th wouldn't have happened, and June 21st of 2023 wouldn't have happened had I not done that. We've all been hurt. We've all gone through stuff. I mean, 2013, one of the worst years of my life, just having no place to go, only in a little red van. That's all I had. That was it. That was all I had. Didn't have any place to go or anything. No job. I mean, I felt like Ned Niederlander. It's like, what do we have to go back to? We had no jobs, no money, no place to live, no friends, no women, no self-respect. Well, I gained all that back in 2014. And I never went back to 2013 again because I did things differently. And now I've got a quality job that I enjoy doing. I have this dashing and getting to know you all. And Chuck, I know everything there is to know about this shrimping business. Cool. But Chuck, I'm going to tell you something right now. You are the prime reason that I'm on the air right now. You're the prime reason I even started a channel. And I got to give that to you. I thank you, Nieces. I thank all of you. I'm so happy to share this with all of you. And for those who weren't here to watch this live, those who weren't here, share this live if you would. I would really appreciate it. Because there's just some people out there that really need to see it. And I can't wait to show you Monica's book. I can't wait to show you Monica's store. I'm also going to be taking a picture of myself at a sign with pelicans called the Mississippi Coast. I'm going to do a short on that. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, City. Thank you all. And I'm going to enjoy the time that I have here in Mississippi and Alabama. And I've got several days to do things here. And I really haven't had the chance to dash, and now I was in platinum, but now I went down to gold, but that's okay. This is a time to relax. This is a time to just get away from everything. Just forget about work. There's times you just have to do that. That's what Stu's doing. That's what Brian, the Rookie Dasher, is doing, and several others. When Stu came on, I think it was Dink's Live he was on, he said, he just had to get away from it. And I'm sure the Rookie Dasher, Brian, I'm sure he feels that way too. Sometimes you just gotta get there. Well, how far is Houston from Gulfport, Mississippi? I mean, I'll think about that when I'm going there. But I mean, there is a time that I am going to have to get back to my work because I have this schedule that's revolving schedule. 8 hours to Houston. Okay, well, I think about that. You must have been a really big traveler, Tornado, are you? Have you traveled along a lot? Because I like those who enjoy traveling, because I love that. That's exactly how you're supposed to be, Mom. Exactly. A lot of my videos I have shown positivity. And it's just too bad not too many people have seen that because there's just too many people that don't know how to be positive. Yeah. People that just don't know how to. Because it takes a positive attitude, it takes forgiveness, it just takes, sure, when somebody throws, something negative at you, you just can't respond the same way because you don't get anywhere. In my book, I explained that, that arguing and fighting, you never get anywhere doing that. Arguing and fighting never solve anything. Because there's a passage in my book that says that. And it's true. It really is. And with all the stuff that's going on in the world right now, there's, unnecessary wars going on, unnecessary things going on in the countries. I mean, it doesn't matter what country it is. There's just unnecessary stuff going on because nobody knows how to get along. I got to have it my way. You can't always have it your way. It's just like Stallone said, and I said this in Fran's video. And by the way, you know, that one video I did with Fran's Journey to 500, I believe it was a little over a month ago, it was stuck on 45. It went up to 127 in the last month. Because that shows how much Fran's loved. And I know that, you know, she's just going to keep growing. I mean, and I didn't think I was going to get that many views just putting that together, but I was surprised. I mean, going up 80 more views in the last, in the last month or maybe less? It just shows. It shows when we work with one another and we learn to get along and we help one another, we all grow. I mean, you know, that's what my channel is all about. My channel is about helping you guys grow. I mean, sure, I want to grow too. I mean, I eventually want to get to 100 and 200 and 300 and so on. You know, I'm happy with the 73 I've got right now. I mean, sure, I want more, but I know I have to work to get there. But I'm the happiest when I see you guys get where you need to go. I mean, I was happy to have Angela and David get their 1,000. I mean, I was ecstatic when Roy got his 500. I was ecstatic when Fran got her 500. I was ecstatic when Chuck got his 10,000. I'm ecstatic when Meaty Mama goes up too. She's getting close to 17,000 now. And why is that? Because we all work together. We all support one another. Yes, Sheila, I am an awesome supporter, and I want to be that way. I put your guys' names up there, you know, when I play the music to go drop on the drop-offs, because I want everybody to see that, you know, I'm a supporter of you all. I mean, a number of you, like Ray, you guys go out of your way to put our names on posts, you know, to put our channels on posts to see that we get lives. I mean, this is the type of thing we all need to do. You know, it may seem like we're in competition with one another, but we're really not. If we work together, we can make things happen. I mean, did everybody see 3 Stacks' video today? Oh my gosh, that was a great video. He should have done that a long time ago, but he's been through some stuff. And for him to put something together, that short a time after he lost the person that he loved the most who raised him, my goodness. Yeah. He still has some healing to do, I know he does. Yeah, I'm very proud of him too. That was a fantastic video. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And he's at 50 some odd subscribers. Now, I told him today, I said, you need to go live. And I think that we all need to work together. Since he did so well, we need to support him even more and try to get him to 100 and try to get him up there. Because, I mean, if he's that good of putting a video together, he's going to be growing big time. He's probably surpassed some of you if he puts out video that good. That was impressive. I was very impressed with him. And I thought, why didn't you do this earlier? It was great. Yeah. I mean, I love the video of Mad Dasher that Chuck put out today. I mean, it was like, it wasn't like he never, just started. I mean, it's like he just, I agree with you, Mary. I know it doesn't matter why he didn't do it earlier and he's doing it now. I get that. Okay. I get it. It's all a timing thing. I understand. It's a timing. I know all about that. Yeah. From April 11th of 2011 to March 21st of 2023. I know exactly what you're talking about, Mary. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's all a timing thing. And you got to go through things. You got to go through things. It's like Stallone said in the movie. You know, if you know what you're worth, then go get what you're worth. But you got to take the hits. And I took a lot of hits. It was the 14th round in 2013. I mean, I was down to like the 8 count. But there was 9 and 10. Then there was 2014. All the way up to 2023, getting better and better. Then I was at the right place, at the right time. And that's when it happened. 3 Stacks is awesome. You're right. He is. He is. You guys got to see him over there in Kingsland. So a number of you got to meet him. And yeah, he's fantastic. But you know, a number of you on here, I mean, all of you that are on here, all of you, you're all great too, in your own way. In your own way, you're all great. You all do things in your own way, and you put your videos together in different ways. I mean, sure, there's, you know, when I put my videos together, I mean, sure, there's some things that I do exactly like Chuck does, but in that one video that I showed you, had I not learned that from Chuck, I mean, I had a customer rating of 4.67 at one time. And I wondered, what in the world was I doing wrong? Why did I have a customer rating so bad? And then watching Chuck, I figured it out. And then I started slowly improving and improving and improving. And then it just took, you know, it wasn't so much what Chuck did, it was the class. It was what was in his voice. It was in his demeanor. And it was in his personality. And that's what I like seeing. And even though I couldn't exactly be that way, I could at least be similar and do similar things and see what happened. Now my customer rating is 4.99. And it hasn't been any lower for the last 3 months. And why? Because I watched Chuck. That's why. And I credit some of you too. I've seen some of you out there doing some of the things, and I credit everybody on here because we all have done things. I've learned things from Chuck. I've learned things from cruising with Corey. I've learned things from Fran and a number of you. And I got to tell you, there's always room for improvement for everybody. It's okay, Wendy and Sheila. You don't have to, you can be lurking. That's fine. You can be lurking. I mean, that's fine. As long as you're getting something out of this, and as long as you got, your understanding that, of how I got where I am, and knowing that my book is out, and showing you all these other books too. I mean, and I'm really serious when I say this. Those other books that I showed you, and I will put those on a video. I really would like for you to take a look at those books as well, especially if you're having a hard time letting go of some issues in your life. I definitely recommend Redeeming Your Timeline, because that will help you overcome that. I definitely recommend Monica's book, When Faith Embraced the Promise, because that's also a visionary thing, that it took time and preparation and all the things you need to do. I mean, let's take Sheila for example. Let's just use her. The channel you have now, Sheila, is a whole bunch of different things. And at the very first, I know that it was all just about dashing and also about about catering. But your vision was bigger than that, and you added all the other stuff to it. Now look at your channel. It was because of your vision. It was your vision. Same thing with Roy. When he started, you know, he didn't think about doing karaoke. But his vision was bigger because the karaoke enhanced his vision. And I know, like, you know, same thing with Chuck and some others, you know. All of this started because of a vision. You know, my book started with a vision. March 28th of 2011. You know, when I was asked to, you know, to go into my old neighborhood and just, you know, retrace everything that happened and forgive everything that happened. Yeah, it was a vision. You know, just like going for 500, going for 1,000, 10,000, or 17,000, like Meeting Mama. It all started with a vision. If you see yourself there, you will get there. Yeah. I just had to use you as an example, Sheila, because you just started, especially when you were on Chuck's guest star. You were just doing regular gig work. You weren't into catering yet, and then you decided to add your household projects and things. It was all because you had a vision to make your channel better, and that's what made it happen. Duke, yep, you'll all be in my prayers tonight. I appreciate that, Duke. I appreciate seeing all that. Y'all have just been very supportive of one another. And I appreciate you being supportive of me since I introduced this. Monica Benjamin, Faith embraced the promise. Thank you, Nieces. Monica will definitely appreciate you doing that. She really will. She really will. Monica is a very sweet person. And Star is too. Any of you that want to get your books together and or whatever vision that you have, or blogging or whatever, you know, if you get to meet Star on the phone or whatever, Star will work with you. She will give you time, you know, and she will go with you step by step as to how to get this done. I mean, you know, this, you know, when I first gave her this in October of 2022, it took us 6 months to get it put together. But nevertheless, I followed her steps and did what she told me to do. You know, there were things I had to add, things I had to subtract. You know, she works with you. And then came March 21st, and there you go. The book was born. And pretty soon, and you know, and this is funny, everyone, because when I went to, you know, this is a sign, okay? When I went to this place too, I mean, Chuck, some of you didn't know that I was at this place called Mr. and Mrs. Crab in Mississippi, where they serve crab legs, all kinds of seafood and everything. My server's name, it wasn't spelled right, but my server's name was Naya. And guess what? That's my second book. That's my second book. That's a sign to tell me that it's time to get my second book going. Because Naya is the main character of the second book. Okay, well now who's Naya? Gotta read this to find out who she is. I can't tell you. You gotta read it to know. You gotta read it to know. But you will find a lot that's in this book here is going to be a lot in Naya's book, if not worse. Because, yes, cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. Did any of you watch all those shows, you know, when they were on back there? Shows like Dallas and Knots Landing and, you know, those types of shows where they had cliffhangers? That's what I'm giving you. That's what I'm giving you. You want to know about a certain someone? You got to read the first one first. and then I'll tell you. But Naya's character, yes, you will learn a lot from her. And there are other characters, like I said, this book that I have is a book of 7. 7 in a series. I mean, there's more books that are with that too, because I've got 10 already written. I just got to get the money together to put them out. And Star has to work with me, and Star's got a pretty busy schedule, so I haven't really been able to work with her recently because she has a lot of clients right now. So she told me it'd probably be around the first of the year before I could even think of getting my second book out, and that's understandable. Because she's very reasonable to work with, and she's very popular. She's got a lot of clients, and yeah, I get it. It's not necessary to have right now. I mean, I waited for the first one, right? Maybe the timing is at a different time next year. It's all about timing, friends. It's all about timing. That's what it is. And Mary was right when she said about 3 stacks. Yes, it's all about timing. There's a time to do things. And, just like the Byrds song. If you ever heard the song from the Byrds, to everything there's a season. Yeah, there's a time for everything. And if you're out of the timing, it's not going to work. And perhaps, when I went through what I went through in 2012 and 2013, I would have been out of the time. And maybe that had to happen to say that, hey, you were going to be out of the time. I didn't like what happened. But turn, exactly. Turn. Okay, I love that song. See somebody love Knots Landing. That'd be Sheila. All right. Okay. But yeah, it's so great that you've been able to share your story with us all. We're here to learn from one another, and that's only done by sharing what they feel that they can do. That's right. That's exactly right. Sheila, can you answer that for Taneo? Somebody can. I never watched it, so I mean, my mother did, but I never did. I was too busy doing other things. I mean, I was in the band in high school, and I just never had the time. When is the time for me to get rich? Well, Sheila, you're on your way. The way your channel's going right now, you're on your way. I mean, the way you're going, pretty soon you're going to catch up to Meaty Mama. I mean, how Chuck is. I mean, I know the way that Chuck's going. I mean, Chuck doesn't even need DoorDash right now. He's putting out great videos without it. I mean, I know he wants to get back on it because he thinks that there are some people that say that his videos are boring because DoorDash is not on it. Well, I think his Spark videos are just as well. It's just like Drew, That's why Drew named his channel Drew's Spark Adventures. Spark and Uber, I mean, that puts good videos together. You don't need DoorDash. I mean, DoorDash is all I do. But, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I have a job that takes care of me. So all DoorDash is just extra money. It was the extra money of DoorDash that I did that, put me where I am right now. It helped pay for this vacation. Because I take the money and I just put it away. If there's something I really need right now, I can use the DoorDash money to get it. But I just use my W-2 job to take care of my bills. I don't use my W-2 for anything else. My W-2 just pays my bills, and all this extra money is what I make. And if I make money from my books, same thing. You don't want rich, you want peace. You said it there, Mama. We want peace. She's right. There's not enough peace in this world. There just isn't. Everybody wants what they want right now. There's too much hate. There's too much, I want this and you're going to give it to me and I will take it from you, regardless of whether I have to go to war with you or not to get what I want. It's not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to negotiate with one another. We're supposed to learn to get along. We're supposed to learn to say, hey, we have to learn to be united, not divided. our states right now are divided. They're not united. And we all as citizens, we all need to work together to try to help each other with that. Now, I'm not going into politics or anything of that nature. Everybody has their own thing, because this is not a political channel either. I'm just brought that up because all I'm saying is we just got to learn to get along with one another. We need to be united and not divided. That's all I'm going to say. Because I'm not stepping on toes with anybody, because everybody has their own beliefs, everybody has their own feelings, and you're entitled to those feelings. Peace and love, yes, love and peace. It really isn't hard to ask. But some people just feel like, let me say this too. I'm going to give you a prime example. When I was waiting in the breakfast line today, there was the oatmeal area was it was out and needed replenished. Well, there was a lady that came up and just looked at the person behind the counter and said oatmeal. Just looked at the thing and said oatmeal. Didn't say please. Didn't say something like, well, the oatmeal's out, can I, is there any way you can get me more? No, just said oatmeal, that's it. Like, you owe me, like the world owes me a living. That's the attitude. Friends, the world doesn't owe anybody anything. And that's the way some people feel. The world owes me a living. No, it doesn't. The world doesn't owe anybody anything. And if we're going to have peace and love in the world, we have to learn, there's some sacrifices we have to make. And there's just some things that we have to accept, because we can't have everything. I mean, even some millionaires and billionaires, yeah, they think they can have everything, but truthfully, they can't. There's millionaires and billionaires that are miserable. And there are those, like Mama said, that don't have anything, but yet they're happy. And why is it? Because they don't have the burden of money on their minds. Exactly, Mama. If you're breathing, you should consider yourself blessed. Exactly. And I don't want this to be just a message about books. I want this to be a message of everybody getting along, everybody learning to forgive. Because my book would not exist if it wasn't for forgiveness. And it's one of the most hardest things we could ever do. Was it hard for me to forgive? Absolutely. Went through a lot of torture going through school, just like Sonny did. But I knew in my heart I had to forgive. I had to do it. Happiness comes within your heart. If it's in your mouth, it's in your heart. It's a spiritual law. And another spiritual law, and if you have not seen my video, the 50-50 video, I'm going to say this again, and I'll say it here for those future video watchers. I'm going to say this again. What you get back is what you send out. If you send out hate, you're going to get hate back. Maybe not right away, but you got to understand, we reap what we sow, more than we sow, and later than we sow. So if you're going to sow hate, you're going to get it back. And you're not going to like how you get it back. But if you sow love, sow peace, sow a positive personality and love, you're going to get that back too. You may not understand how you're going to get it back, and it may not happen right away. The right person, and I'm going to say this too, everyone here, you are one person away from your dreams coming true. I was one person away, but it didn't take one person. I mean, Star was my one person to help make my book come true. But it wasn't just her. I had to go to Mississippi. I had to meet Greg and Dolly. I had to meet Monica. They were the ones to help me get there. But we're one person away. Just like Fran is seeing somebody. He just might be that one person that catapults her. We may be just one video away from having thousands of subscribers. We do things like Dashing Dink did. I've got that video saved, Dashing Dink, that you did about paying it forward. I think if everybody learns to do something like that, I think we're going to change a lot of attitudes. And I know I'm going to start making videos of doing things of that nature, and I think we all should. Even if you do it just one time, if that's all you do it is just one time, then see what happens. I mean, I've never done it, but after seeing him do it, I'm going to do it one time and see what happens. You never know who's behind that. Someone, they might just be down to their last few dollars. And what you did for them will save those few dollars for something else. You never know what's on the other side of people's hearts. You never know what somebody's going through until you've been there yourself. I was homeless in 2013. I know exactly what that's like. And in a spin-off book, I wrote all about that through a different character. But I can't reveal that book until all 7 of these books are out, because nobody will understand that character until all these other 7 are done first. But even if you're at your lowest level, you take what you learn from that lowest level. And that's what I did. And when you see others at that point, you know that you were there. And if there's something you can do to help them, then you should. And that's what I've done. And while I'm on that subject, I'm going to bring one other thing, because it'll be an hour and a half here soon. But when I was married before, and this is a true story, friends. I was married in June 30th of 2000. And the funny thing about it was, her son had the same birthday as my dad. Now, my dad passed away in 1982 from both heart attack and stroke, but he didn't take care of himself. Drank all the time, ate the wrong foods, was angry at everybody, even people on the road. And you're not going to live long if you do that. You didn't have anything in your heart. And if all that gets in your heart, it's going to come out some way. And you're not going to like how it comes out. And it did him in. But anyway, to get off of that, when I was married to this woman, she decided at one point, because things weren't the best, going through some hard times, but yet she couldn't do the hard times. No, she felt like she had to have something else, because she couldn't wait on the hard times. So she decided to go out on me and find someone. And then, I ended up leaving the relationship. I didn't believe in divorce. Never believed in it. Still today don't. But I had to go through it. Because that person came to my job and said that he would do something to me if I didn't divorce her immediately. And he said it right in front of my supervisor. I'm like, okay, buddy. This is what you want. So I went ahead through it. Didn't want to, but went ahead and through it. And then guess what I find 4 years later, from 2003 when I got divorced? I find my former wife standing out in the street as a panhandler. Really? And I asked her, I'm like, what are you doing? This isn't the woman I married. What are you doing out here? Have you just given up? And she said, I don't know what else to do. So are you still with this guy? And she goes, yeah. So you're going to stand out here and make yourself look bad and still be with someone who put you out here? Do you know how embarrassing this is? I was married to you once, and now I'm embarrassed because you are out here. It was sad, friends. It was very sad. Someone you once loved just gave up and was still with the man that she ended up going out with me on. But that told me something. That if you've just given up, there's no reason for me to go back. And those words that Ned Niederlander said, what do you have to go back to? I didn't have anything to go back to then, because I wasn't going to subject myself to that. Because I went through it. And I know what it's like. When you're at your bottom, when you're at the rock bottom and don't know where to go next, the only way to go is up. Because all I had was a red van. That was it. But the lucky thing was that van was paid for. And if it wasn't for that, I would have had absolutely nothing. But I didn't give up. I got up because it was the 14th round. And I kept going, kept fighting. And there you go. Yeah. Well, guys, we're about to close the pool here, so I can't be out here too much longer. But I am going to say this again. I will definitely be doing a couple more lives this week while I'm on vacation. When I am in Monica's shop, I will be doing a live there so that you can meet her. And you will find that she's just, she's a wonderful person, a very wonderful person. And had it not been for her, my book wouldn't have come live. So please check out her book called When Faith Embraced the Promise. Please check that book out. She would really appreciate y'all. And check Troy's book out too, Redeeming Your Timeline. If you're having a hard time forgiving, or if there's something that's on your mind that you just can't get over, Redeeming Your Timeline will help you with that. And also, if you have goals in life and you have been through rejection or anything like that, please check out Patricia's book too, Dream On Now, Deliver. Patricia's a very classy person. I mean, I've never met her myself, but, she has ties with Chicago and ties with Greece, and she was number 9. Has the number 9 been important in my life? Yes, it has. In many ways. Thank you, nieces. I appreciate that. I needed to hear that. I really did. Please, friends, please share this live. Please. I really would appreciate it if you would. You all are so great. And I put all of you in blue tonight because you all deserved it. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to have to end it right now. So, anyway, I appreciate y'all. You all yourselves have a wonderful night. And just like Doc Brown would say, I will see you in the future.